Andate cantabile. You know, I don't even think I know what tempo I use on this. Probably the 80s, pretty comfortable. All about pitch, tone, and line. Very hard to play this piece if you have a flat reed. Impossible to play this piece. And unfortunately, probably 90% of the world in Texas has flat oboe reeds. It's really hard to make an up-pitch reed that's not stiff and hard to play. The way to work on this first measure is to play the G pitch on a tuner. Do not stop the needle. I'm not talking about putting in a pitch. I'm saying play a G and play in tune with it for the first measure, and it'll really help you. Because your G's and your B's have to match, just like those A's on that last one. You don't want. Right? You're going to hear that so much. Those B's have to be locked in. That's where the locked in is, okay? There is a good test for a reed on that last sheet that you should have. Oh wait, did you not get this? I don't think did I not copy this? Okay, sorry. There's so few of them. Oh, it is on the back, right? Okay, good. So that first one is just a regular A. This is a way to test if you have a flat reed or not. One of the ways is just to play a B natural and shake the side octave, and then the upper octave should pop out. But a true test, and even some of my best reeds are slightly off on this. You play your upper A, and then you play a harmonic A, and that gives you the two fingering. They should be in pitch. And if they're not, and your reed's dropping all the time, you're going to have a lot of trouble with this excerpt. And you're going to have a lot of trouble with that other one going, that one too. There's not much to do except flip the reed, but then it makes it harder to blow, so there's just a lot to that. And just so we know for future, when we get to that, there's a trill fingering for measure 22 for the A sharp. It's very easy. Just play kind of what I wrote down and you wiggle the one I pointed to, okay? So, other than saying that, this one, please don't play this too slow. You just want to shoot yourself if it's too slow, okay? One of the ways I practice this is way too fast. Almost like it's not a scherzo, because it's not 3, but more of a, well, let's say an allegro. I mean, I practice it. You know, just to be like that, so that you get a sense of the line of the movement. Then go back to the slow, and then you'll have a movement feeling to it when you're. Like that, okay? Measure 1, we already talked about that. Measure 3. This is kind of an interesting thing. It happens 6 times in this piece. You have to lift the A for the breath because they want you to. You don't need a breath, but you need to lift it. The F sharp has to be lifted too for the style of the music. If you go like, that sounds ridiculous. It's got to be just as lifted. It doesn't have to breathe, but I actually did get my lips off the reed just to make it seem like it's lifted too. In measure 10, 11, 12, 13, there's also, this is a tricky one because it's fast. And I call it putting an M on a note. And you say yum. Now if you don't accommodate for the yum, it's going to go sharp. That's what I'm talking about. So it takes some time to learn how to go. See how the reed coming out of my mouth to accommodate for the closure a little bit? Otherwise you're going to sound, which sounds really bad. So make sure you lift those kind of places like 9, 10. You'll hear me when I play those, okay? So measure 4. We are totally backward from what natural music is in that our low register is really loud and full and our upper register is really thin. And in music, when you go up, it tends to really increase in dynamic and strength. Just like flutes have to take more effort there and can ease down into the low registers. Same with clarinet, their low is so easy. So we have to approximate, unfortunately, those instruments. So don't try to decrescendo to 5. Just make it easier. And the best way to do that is to be enough intensity on G, right, on measure 4, so you can relax into the low B. Like that, okay? If you crash on the D, it's going to sound awful. keep it up until almost the B on the, not the fourth beat, but the and of 2. Okay, I would even almost put a crescendo on the G, just to get yourself through those sections. Okay, measure 5, again, the G, put the G on for pitch so that you can tune to that. And measure 8, the high B has to come from the middle one. It cannot be pushed up. Every one of you are going to be wanting to play. Okay, and B shouldn't look like that, like my face. Really, seriously, you'll need to eat something or like have a Coke. All right, the B should be. Almost like a, raise your eyebrows even. You know, let it come from the low B. The B is, you know what a partial is, like of an overtone series? That's what it should feel like. It's just kind of echoing from the low B. It's really important. What?
Float.
Yeah, exactly, please, not pinch. Okay, number 9 through 11, look at the line there, A, B, C. A, B, C. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, thank you. All right, so measure 9. That's where you're going. Okay, so really follow the ABC thing. And if you noticed, I lifted the A, even though it's not marked, because it would sound bad. No, it's a little gentle, kind of another little M, and I call them Paisleys, little curlicue Paisleys. It's a little Paisleys there, okay? Please, in measure 11, and then at the end, 24 and 23, please don't make it so seasick that people get nauseous from. Okay, you have to have the line. The line is in the upper notes. That kind of a thing instead of, it's not a hee-haw, we're not on hee-haw. Okay, that's an old reference there. So on measure, let's see where we are. Measure 9 through, okay, number 13, same thing I already told you about, lift, say yum. And measure 15, there's a lot of triplet versus duple here. The way to convey your triplets clearly is to make sure the duple before it is a duple really. Measure 14. So it's super clear. Otherwise, the triplet just sounds like you're rushing 16ths. All right? All right, so that's the second section. Now measure 17. It is this, to me, 17 and 18 are just interminable. They last forever. And you have to love your sound. You have to love yourself. It's like those Jack Handy mirrors. I'm good enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. You have to like those two measures. The G in that measure 18 feels like it's the longest note in the piece, only because it just sits there. And G's are the hardest note to vibrate on. Again, I actually use throat vibrato, and that's a whole discussion with band directors, and we'll not talk about it right now. But some vibrato has to happen on that G, or you're just going to sit there and you're going to play it too fast. And also the triplet, you're going to worry so much about the Nachschlag, which is what the two notes after the trill are called, that you're going to rush it. So just try to keep that in tempo. It really does feel like the longest notes of the piece. And measure 19. Again, prepare for the triplets so that you don't rush. And then, when you go back to the duple, that's one of the hardest things to convey is 21, when you're not moving to convey rhythm. Okay, it's kind of a tricky little cool lesson here. When you're... I mean, I have to kind of almost nod my head to the duple so that I feel that that G is in place, okay? But the G is not the important part. What's happening in the E inside your body is, if that makes any sense. It's a really, really, really mature place. It's very hard to do. But you can do it. And 19, triplets, okay. Measure 22. Where do you guys think, from measure 21, the phrase heads toward? What is the most important note? Where are you going to? Can you tell me from there? Just, I mean, even if you're wrong, I don't care. Just tell me what you think. Where's the note that you feel like you're emphasizing you're heading toward? Spit it out. There's lots to choose from. Even if you're wrong, I don't care. Just tell me. I'm not speaking again until you tell me something.
I.E.
Okay. Another choice? Thank you. That's what a lot of people say. What's another choice? The F sharp. Which one?
Wait, what measure?
21 through to the end. Okay.
Oh,
That's okay. What do you guys think? Gotta say it. Say it loud and proud.
A.
Okay, keep going. Another, give me one more.
B natural.
Okay, so everybody thinks it's, most people think it's the E. Okay, you have to say a note. I don't care what it is. Even if you just say G and it's not even in the P. Say a note. B, okay, thanks. Yes, it's the B. And what I'm saying is most people do think it's the E and freak out about it, stress about it, hit it, sounds awful, and then you're just lost. So you got to go through the E to the B, and then you don't worry about it as much. Right? That's a hard measure, but you've got to think of it going through to the B next, okay? And the last thing here is upper notes are not an important line, like I said, so don't be wooey about it. All right, so I can play this. Most important thing to do is put the notes on the wind. And what that means is you have to have a good line of phrase to put these notes on it. And do you have any questions before I play it once?